Hey guys, today we're going to be drawing some watercolor mushrooms. I'm using the iPad Pro with the Procreate app. Now you don't need this to follow along. You can use a white sheet of paper, a black marker for outlines, and markers and crayons for coloring in. I occasionally may use a pencil to sketch first, so it's always handy to have that as well as an eraser. If you're new to Procreate, I also have a video called 25 Procreate Tips and Tricks, which is good to watch first because as I draw, I'll be using these actions. I will link that video below. For this tutorial, we'll be using two layers which I've already created. The top layer is for outlines, where we'll be using our black round brush, and the bottom layer is where we'll be filling in with color. So here I have my black, and I've got my HB pencil sketch brush, and then we can just start by drawing the mushroom. And then we can draw a couple of more mushrooms just underneath. I guess just smaller ones. And then we're just gonna take the eraser brush. And then maybe there's one just behind the big one here. And then surrounding it, we can put some leaves. And then you have the gills. These are just essentially lines that you can just draw. Okay, I'm just gonna fix the top part of this. I'm not very happy with that. And then we can go and put some circles on here. All right, so here's our basic sketch. So I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to use watercolor this time, and the watercolor brushes I have, I will link below. So here they are right here, and I'm going to show you just an example of how they work. So I already have my mushroom color palette all picked out. I'm just going to create a new layer, and then I'm going to go to my color layer here. So let's select a red. I'm just going to show you how each brush looks. So as you can see, this is minimal pressure, and then when I press really hard, that's what happens. Here's the wash brush. And here's the detail brush. Here's the wet brush. Increase that. Splatter brush, which we probably won't be using. This one's called Salty Accent. It's pretty cool. Okay, let me just erase this and then I'll show you the rest. And then last we have the flowing brush. I'm actually going to start with a new layer, and this will be our background. I'm going to put underneath the color layer, and then maybe we could start with the green first, and I just forgot to put the green in my color palette. So let's select just a shade of green. I like it a little bit more yellow. I'm going to use the textured stroke. So I'm not going to let go of the brush. And if I press down, you will see that the texture changes. So we're gonna make it really light near the tip of the leaf. So I'm gonna start at the base of the leaf. Okay, let me add this color to the palette. Then I'm just gonna select a darker shade of that color, and then we're gonna make the base slightly darker. You can go a bit darker if you want. And then we can try with the wash brush, I guess, just to blend it. Okay, let's turn off the outline and see how that looks. All right, so let's do the same thing for these other leaves here. Okay, I'm just gonna also create a new layer. I'm gonna put this underneath the leaf, and then we can, I guess, do like a grass or moss background, and then just select the textured stroke brush, and I'm gonna increase my brush size, and then I'm just gonna do a background, just a soft background. And I do wanna have it darker near the big mushroom because that's where the shadows are gonna be. And then we can blend that. And then I'm just gonna take my eraser and just erase these parts where it's overlapping. And then we can soften it more just by using the blending brush, and just make sure that you have a soft airbrush selected. And I'm just going really lightly here. All right, so moving on, we can start with the base of the mushrooms. Let's go to our palette, and then let's select the lightest shade first. So we're gonna do this one here. And then this time we're gonna go back to the color layer. And I'm just keeping all these layers separate in case I do a mistake. That way they're not all blended together, which will make it harder to erase. All right, so we'll lightly color the stem here. So I'm also going to move the leaf layer on top of this color layer, so that the stems of the mushroom are behind the leaves. All right, so let's grab a darker brown. Let's do this one. And then we can start applying, I guess, some darker shadows up here. And you can see when I press really hard, the brush gets much larger. So you can play around with it, it's pretty cool. And I'm gonna go even darker. Again, it's always great to know where the light source is. So maybe we can put our light source up at the top right. So everything on the left side will be shadowed. Then I'm gonna go again, much darker. And as you can see, if I'm coloring outside of what I've done, it's actually a pretty dark color. So just think layers when you're coloring. And then we can either leave it like this or we can blend it. So let's try blending this just a little bit. Just gonna put some more shadows over here. And then up over here, it's really dark. So let's grab that really dark brown or even a black. Let me try a black. So mushrooms do come in different colors, but let's draw this one a red. So I'm gonna start off with the lightest red I have. And it's okay if we just color over these circles because I guess we can erase them after. So again, I'm just gonna create a new layer for that, keeping in mind that our light source is on the right, so it'll be lighter on the right and darker on the left. And then we can select this darker red over here and just kind of make the shadows more prominent. And then we can erase the color in the circles. All right, so let's draw the underneath of the mushroom. And again, this is that brown color. And this time I'll just go in the leaf layer since it's not really touching the other elements. And then we can also do these circles now. I'm going to select a lighter shade of that brown. And this time I do want to create a new layer on top of the red layer. All right, let's take off the sketch layer and see what we're left with. So that's pretty cool. We can also clean up some of these edges if we want. But what I want to do also is just make sure that we get those gills underneath and maybe some lines on the leaves. So maybe I'm going to try this detailed brush. And I'm just going to go back to this layer. All right, let's merge the layers, and you can either leave it like that or you can clean up the edges a little bit. You can make it as smooth as you want, or you can leave a little bit of texture. And then to fix these parts, you can just, I guess, lightly blend it. Unless you want to just leave it the way it is. All right, guys, there you have it. Here is your watercolor mushrooms. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. To get notified of more new videos where I teach you to draw, be sure to subscribe to Draw with Marina.